Ow. I love this. So, Renji, where we left off, you had fallen unconscious after heading out of Candlekeep onto the road and slowly losing your sense of self as the blade's impulses took over. You remember seeing someone on the road ahead of you, and then nothing. You remember being shown the memory of what happened that day you left home. A brief conversation with the blade. And then you wake up in a small space. Considerably. It's more like a room, smaller than the room that you have at the keep. I can't remember the name of the building because my brain shut down. Rather bare. Really not much in this space. It looks like it was probably used for storage at some point, but at this point it's empty except for you. And across the room, out of your reach, in its sheath, sits the blade.
Are my arms free?
Your arms are bound in front of you. And there's no door in this room, but it is lit by a couple of drift globes.
I do not know if anyone can hear me, but if this is some sort of prank, I'm not laughing.
You call this out. I don't hear anything. Make a perception check for me.
On the table, that works too. 15.
15. As you're just looking up and around the room, the walls are of a deep purple color, and if you look on them, it almost looks like they're shifting and moving. It kind of reminds you of the conference rooms, the extramental spaces within the hearth. And you look down around at your bindings and immediately notice a first dark crimson on your clothing. The signs of a gash that was on your shoulder in your clothes, but the injury is sealed. You're back up at full hit points.
Okay.
And that darkness that had creeped up your arms every time you've used the blade has extended.
How far, like knuckle or wrist?
You're looking, it's just about pushing towards your wrist now.
Go.
And as you look down at the stain on your clothing, you realize that some of the stains are not from that wound.
Renji is at this point going to remain calm and just sit lotus position and meditate on what has transpired in the last hour or so.
Where are you sitting in the room?
Where
You move or where you were?
where they woke up.
Okay. So the blade is only about 5, 6 feet from you.
Yep, and it stays that way.
Roll a d20 for me, please.
That's a 9.
You close your eyes and think back, trying to remember some semblance of what has happened and how you ended up in this space, and it is blank. You can't recall anything.
Okay. A lot of impulse rolls. Gonna try and get out of the binding.
Make either an athletics or acrobatics check.
I'll take acrobatics.
Well, it would be sleight of hand, but either sleight of hand or athletics. I'll say
Okay. Sleight of hand then. That is 24.
24. Deft ease, you're able to slip out of those knots.
How sore is Randy right now?
Are you gonna like try and stretch out and
He's gonna try and get up and just kind of stretch about.
you feel fine? The only stiffness is probably from being unconscious on a hard floor. You're very used to trancing. You're not used to laying down on a hard tack floor like this.
If that's how non-elves do it, I don't know how they do it. He's gonna look at the blade for a bit. Tries to pay it no mind and get a good feel around the walls and see if there's any doors or just anything.
Make an investigation check.
That was an 18 and then a 19 on the die. I'll take that 21.
I love that you're like you automatically get advantage because it works so well for this character.
Mm-hmm. Advantage on insight and investigation.
I love it. So perfect for someone who is like mentally trained as a monk. Like it just works.
Yeah, so 21 total.
You're feeling the walls around the room, and it's solid. It's solid, but it's almost like you can feel little veins or something along them. But you don't see any door. But it's almost like there's a texture to the wall, but it's changing constantly. It's not something you felt before.
Nothing on the ceiling.
More of the same. Drift globes. Closer to the ceiling.
And the floor?
Looks like pretty much the same thing. Maybe a little bit more solid looking.
Okay. kind of takes his wakizashi and just kind of taps it onto the wall by the pommel.
What's your passive perception?
15.
15. As you're still looking around, tapping at the wall, you hear a sound behind you.
Turns
And
around
then
very, very slowly.
a couple steps into the room. You turn around and you see someone you've not seen before. Looks like a kindly looking dragonborn, green, orange, and purple tunics, scarf around the neck. You would know these are nice looking tunics. They're also they colors kind of go along with what you've seen of the staff at Candlekeep.
Okay.
Greenish golden eyes, and he just enters into the room.
Um,
Hello. I've been told your name is Renji.
yes. I only have 2 questions, if I may. Well, actually, it's 1. Is this some sort of prank? Just like his eyes just peer over to the blade and peer back to the Dragonborn. Or is this because of something I've done?
He looks over his shoulder, and a couple individuals come in with just basic looking chairs and set them down before heading out. And he just, as they head out, the door behind shuts, and all you see is that blank wall again. And he comes over to you, motions to one of the chairs. Sadly to say, this is not exactly what I would consider a prank.
There's a look of remorse.
Can you tell me what happened last night, or what you remember based on your face?
I just remember having me and my friends were playing a game where we ask questions. We have to either choose to answer truthfully or take some form of punishment. Just a fun game. And then I remember questions probing about my past and the item that I carry, and something snapped in me. I can't. After that, I have no recollection of what happened.
Do you remember leaving Candlekeep for a time?
I thought that was just a fever dream. It felt so chaotic to be real. The only thing I can clearly remember is just getting upset and then waking up in this room.
Sorry, I'm just looking down at his stat block real quick, and I'm like, what is that? Is there something in here I don't recognize?
Oh?
I'm just like, wait, I've never heard of that before. He gives you a. He's at this whole time. He still has a very light, content kind of smile, but his eyes speak of a stronger intensity. Well, first allow me to introduce myself. I am called Bookworm. I am the first reader here at Candlekeep. Might not be a term that you are familiar with.
Unfortunately not, I'm afraid.
That is all right. A friend in your group, I believe Ling, is a member of our Avowed. We have many Avowed scribes that roam these halls. Above them is the Great Readers, multiple individuals that specialize in specific topics who help manage the day-to-day. And there's me.
Ah. So this is very bad.
Unfortunately, last night, a life was lost. A young woman who seemed to be on her way here. Based on what I've heard from your companions who speak very highly in your favor, this is more likely to be the doing of another. And their eyes drift past you towards the sword still sitting on the ground.
Renji has 1,000-yard stare on him, just racking over what happened. Could she have been saved, or was then?
Unfortunately, we are scholars, and while many here, myself included, follow the different gods of knowledge, we do not have any clerics or those meant to maintain that sort of life here. This is not that sort of temple. Hold on. I hear his music heading down the hallway, and I was like, oh, come on. I had to turn it off real quick so it wouldn't get us a copyright violation in the future. Damn.
God damn it. Oh,
It's coming back.
Jerome, stop getting us a copyright.
He said he's turning it up for the people in the back.
God damn it, Jerome.
I mean, it's a good song. It's a really good song, but come on.
That's the problem. Really good songs are the ones that are a bastard when it comes to copyright.
I know. So, unfortunately, we do not have any clerics on staff here. I'm quite curious as to how it came into your possession.
It's been in my family for as long as I can remember. Well enough before that. I took it upon myself to take it away from my family to study it. Hence why I'm in Candlekeep.
What else can you tell me?
Reggie has no reason to. Yep, no. Reggie has no reason to lie, no reason to hide anything.
I still need you to make a wisdom save.
Oh, come on, bitch. Get fucked. That's a 22.
Okay. Continue.
From my research, the sword is thousands of years old. Its name.
Make another wisdom save.
Yeah, no. Fuck off. I will take a picture. Hand right here. On camera, do your thing, please. Cool, that works.
Nice.
19 twice in a row.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Its name in your tongue is Dance of a Thousand Deaths. In the tongue that I know of, is known as Senri no Shi no Odori.
And do you know of its history?
There's a lot of blank space with that history, from what I can tell. The maker was not a pleasant woman. And it seems her soul has found its way into this item. And has chosen me.
Explain that.
She clings to me. I don't know why. She's very secretive. I thought she was corrupting my brother. And in an attempt to get him away from the blade, I thought I took his life. But apparently that's not the case.
Make another wisdom save. Disadvantage.
18.
Okay.
You're rolling well. You're gonna fuck me up later when the game starts, aren't you?
I am appreciating this because I'm gonna survive our game later tonight.
That's only horde tactics. It's fine. That's all I can tell you. Seems that my family were guardians. Ran away from home. Came here. Met a group of people. We've been doing our jobs here and there. And now she's just sinking and sinking further in. But I think I know of a way to... I think I know of a way to help. I need to go home.
I'm listening.
There is another blade, apparently. But this one seems to be not as malicious. And it may explain the reason why my brother is alive, even though I ran that one through his chest.
And what is it you hope to accomplish by bringing your blade home?
The truth. That's all I've been wanting this time.
What would you do after?
I don't know. In truth, I haven't thought that far ahead.
What is your intention with this blade?
I could not tell you. As of right now, I could not tell you, as I have no way of understanding it. It's too easy to say I want to be rid of it. I just wish to understand it a little bit more and see what can be done.
To what?
To either make sure it doesn't fall into innocent hands again, to banish it, or to understand it so it can be changed for the better.
And that is what brought you here.
I believe so.
We have very strict rules at Candlekeep regarding violence. And while, yes, it occurred outside of our gates, these are important rules for the safety of everyone who comes here seeking knowledge.
I understand.
A life has been lost. It affects many, not just one. And yet, there are those who I've spoken to who seem to believe enough in you that you are worth another chance. But this is not something I take lightly.
Understandable. I wish it could be as simple as putting that away and never looking at it again.
We have been made aware of its connection. You will be needing to leave Candlekeep today. However, information has been brought to the attention of your companions through means of another, of something that might help with those compulsions.
Who's the other?
Just gives a light smile.
A resident here. This item, if found and utilized, if it does what we've been told, we can allow you back within the gates, as long as it's being utilized the entire time you are inside.
I promise.
We are not jailers here. We cannot keep you, obviously. This was a temporary solution. If you cannot find this item, or a item, or find a way to remove yourself from that, then we will not be allowed, then you will not be allowed beyond these walls. Am I understood?
Understood, First Reader.
And he smiles and stands.
Also stands and still about 5-6 feet away from me, the blade.
It's a relatively small square room.
He's going to put his hand out but not move and see what happens.
To the blade?
Mm-hmm.
It's not snapping to you. It's not Mjolniring.
Fuck! I was thinking, you know what? I'm going to try it. If this works, it'll be a boss up. But no.
We'll see.
Kind of picks it up and places it into his belt. So, thank you. So, what item has been... What item is supposed to help with the compulsions?
I know as much as your friends, however, I'm sure they're willing to tell you more as you head on your way. All that I am aware of is it is some form of shackle. I do not know.
Huh. All right then.
He gestures and the wall opens. The two members of the Avowed who brought in the chairs in the first place are outside, standing, waiting, and Bookworm motions for you to leave.
He gives a respectful nod and leaves.
Roll a d8 for me, please.
Six.
Okay. You actually recognize one of the members of the Avowed, a 20-some-year-old halfling that you met, who last time you saw was working the desk at the Pillars of Pedagogy. And as you start to head off, she seems to follow you, quietly nibbling on a sack of cookies that she's got tucked inside her robes.
Just stops. Turns to... what was her name again?
Sprig. Her name is Sprig.
Turns to Sprig. Unofficial chaperone.
Snickerdoodle?
Sure. He'll walk off and try to find the others.
All right. And that is where we will pick it up next time. You are led, actually, there is an important thing that we need to go through. As you are led out into the chamber, you see the two scribes, and you begin to follow along with Sprig. Sprig actually has to help you leave, because you've never been in this part before, ever. You see yourself surrounded by giant bookcases that go floor to ceiling, no matter how high the ceiling is. There are some hallways where it's about 10 feet. There are spaces that seem to turn into a large circular tower, and they are constant 100-foot ceilings. There's bookshelves all the way up. There are large skylight-like windows up at the top, streaming in light in some places, and where it's still dark, floating drift globes float by. Make me a history check with disadvantage as well, because you are a hermit.
You are now going to fuck me, I can tell. It didn't. 18 with disadvantage.
Yeah, as you're continuing, every now and then you hear this clicking sound as there are these giant floating metallic orbs with like arms and wings off of the back of the floating circle, um, changing out book placements and restacking things, and it flips around, and most of the face is taken up by a giant eye, and you would actually know this as a monodrone.
Okay.
There are a couple monodrones or modrones here, but you wouldn't know that part. Around this area, and you've never seen one within Candlekeep. It's a little confusing. And then you realize why as you are led through these stacks and hallways and rooms that randomly open as different members of the Avowed walk out, and the door then closes and disappears. And you are led to those great emerald green doors that you've always seen on the western side of the Court of Air that no one's allowed beyond. And the door opens, and you exit that space into the Court of Air. You have been behind the emerald door.
Turns to Sprig. I'm guessing I'm not allowed to tell anyone what I saw, aren't I?
There are members of Seekers who are allowed passes beyond the doors. That's not an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Limited time use only.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. Are you chaperoning the whole entire time, or just so I can get out of here?
You need to leave the gates.
Can I at least find my friends first?
Yep. I'm coming with.
Uh-huh. Renji will go find the others.
And that is where we will leave it off. I should have described where you were so that you could have a true understanding.
Yeah, yeah.
That was my bad. All
Yeah,
right.
all good.